Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 196, Zohome on the Range. Recorded on Thursday, April 28th, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
All righty. Yes, we're recording this show on Thursday, April 28th, 2:15 in the afternoon. Why? Because Tyler wants to take a Friday off. I don't understand, dude. Where is the commitment?
The ego of me. I know. I apologize.
I tell you, we should have just recorded this and fooled everybody and pushed it live. We talked about that. That's do that in the future. You guys would know though. You'd know because I'm way too fresh to be doing this show right now. All my caffeine's kicked in. It's good. All right, events. Zoho user group meetups, India, UK, Australia, and the USA. They're running April 20th through May 19th. You can go to zohozenatta.com/events, find all events there. Zoho's got another one, Navigating the Great Resignation by Meeting Employee Needs. That means pay them more. You've got the Zoho Creator Roadshow, and that is running from May 9th and 10th. Zoho also improved business communication with Zoho Invoice and Zoho Mail. And then mid-month, woohoo, we are going to be doing our Zoho Books Full Product Tutorial 2022. Exciting times. I'm looking forward to that one. I believe we're going to try to get away from slides and start pushing it live. We're going to go crazy. So
plan. We're going to give it a shot on this one.
We'll see how that goes. Anyway, and then the rest of our webinars are here as well. And as always, like I say, if you go over to zenatta.com and you click on this events tab, you can find out everything that's going on in the world of Zoho. Not just our events, but everyone else's. And with that, Tyler, let's get right on into the news. All right, Zoho Sign got a much wanted update, kind of, sort of, but it's cool. Basically, in Zoho Sign, you can upload the document for signature, and you can now add a payment field. And then you send the document out for signature. They fill out the document, input their payment information into the document, and when they sign it, the payment is collected instantly. And this is an integration with Zoho Checkout. We don't talk about Checkout very much, Tyler.
No, we do not. It's one of those apps that doesn't have a ton of different use cases because there's not a lot that you can do once the checkout has occurred. You can't really run a custom function or trigger a flow. So we oftentimes don't really build it into our workflows. This is a pretty interesting use case. It does solve for the need for one page that gets a signature and a payment. That does come up a lot. I'd be interested to see. I feel like you could get around some of the limitations of the checkout because you could trigger an automation on the signed document being completed, which is kind of nice. So a cool integration. I mean, we'll have to take a look and see where does that credit card data go? Is that going to connect to their customer account in books, the way that normal kind of payments would against an invoice? But definitely a cool one. They're thinking about a use case that we do get from people pretty often.
A lot. Yeah, I mean, we see this. I mean, oftentimes there's a need for this in subscriptions because oftentimes people want to send a contract for the subscription, right, that locks them in. And right now in subscriptions, you can go, hey, I agree to the terms of service, but are they really reading the contract, signing the contract? So I hope this is a good sign. I hope they add it into subscriptions. I hope they add the ability to auto bill and just generate an invoice out of books, all that kind of stuff. I think
it'd be great if you could have a subscription sign up with the signature. That would be beautiful. So maybe this is steps towards that, kind of tying it in more with the finance ecosystem.
Yep. Good stuff. Moving right along. Approvals are now supported in the latest version of the Zoho Desk iOS mobile app. Tyler, I approve. Do you?
Why not?
That's it.
Kind of one of those things we talk about a lot. More and more people using mobile. So you really don't want to have anything that is missing there. Approvals are a pretty big workflow inside of Desk. If you have certain tickets that have been escalated or refunds that you're kind of managing through here that have to go through approvals, that is really nice, especially the approvers might be people who are in the app less, if they're kind of a manager, they're not in the nitty gritty every day. So good to be able to kind of route that to them just through the mobile app.
And in other exciting Zoho news, Zoho is opening a new office in McAllen, Texas, bringing tech-focused career opportunities and business growth to South Texas. This is part of their, what do they call it?
Transnational
Translocal.
localism.
Is it transnational localism or translocal nationalism?
Transnational
Translocal
localism. I'm pretty
localism.
sure.
Yes, that's what it is. So basically, they're doing a lot of these nifty little satellite offices. Got a picture here of Raju Vignesa, great guy. Met with him when we were down in Austin. He's a big. They're kind of doing the spoke and hub thing here. You know, Austin's kind of the hub, and then they're spoken out all these offices in rural Texas. 10, 20 person offices. So now they've got one in McAllen. If you're unaware of where McAllen, Texas is, well, let me show you here on the map if you're watching us on YouTube. It is in about as south as you can get, and a mere 10 miles from where our producer Freddie is is sitting right now. Freddie, you might leave us. You can go get a job with Zoho there, Freddie. But that's
I'm
it.
gonna stick
So
here. I like it at Zenatta.
two weeks in
2
a
weeks
row,
in
and
a row.
the voice of producer Freddie comes out and joins. I
The
can say it. I
cloud
can.
chiming in.
So anyway, yes. So their corporate headquarters are here in Austin. Now they've opened it here. They've got a couple satellite offices all over the place. So good. They're eating their own dog food, doing what they preach. Good stuff. So slow news week if we're talking about maps and Zoho offices. But if you're down there, say hi to the folks in McAllen. Stop by and see Freddie. He'll get you some barbecue. It'll be all good. All right, and moving on with the news. This is an odd one, Tyler. We're discussing this before. Zoho Assist is adding extended remote support beyond your computer screen, introducing augmented reality remote assistance. Now, Zoho has a product called Zoho Lens, and that allows you to basically use your cell phone and camera to diagnose things and send it back. It looks like they're adding some augmented reality layers on top of that and kind
Yeah,
of
so I
putting
mean,
it
in
in a
essence,
system.
I think this makes a lot of sense. It was kind of confusing me at first, but so like Zoho Assist is like their device management, right? So take control of someone's screen remotely, troubleshoot an issue, but it's all kind of like PC or like desktop based, laptop based. Zoho Lens was specifically on the mobile app and really had just the ability to share what you're seeing through a camera. So the nice thing here is they're almost just adding Lens into Assist and just improving that product to do more. I think
Seems
that
that
makes a
way.
lot of sense. Say again.
I said it seems that way, yes.
Yes, they're kind of just almost like bundling that into Assist, which if you do have an IT team and you have a lot of deployed users, it's not one app, whether you're working on their PC or whether you're going to have them share something through their camera on their phone. Less is more. So kind of a cool little feature set to add into Zoho Assist.
Yeah, and it looks like they're changing the pricing up a bit here. So it appears if you want Lens, it's an add-on. It says it in the article anyway, but I don't see it.
It hasn't made its way
Um,
to the pricing page yet.
yeah, down here at the bottom, it says, want to try our live remote assistance feature available to all customers. The licensing model is technician-based and follows a pricing model similar to remote support. We offer 20% discount. So they need to get that in here. I'm not sure what that pricing is going to be. But
Got it. Very
there we
cool.
go. Yeah, moving on. Tags are now available in Sandbox. So if you're in Zoho CRM and you want to make some major changes to your CRM, you can go back into settings and you can spin up a sandbox. This basically is an instance of your CRM that you can make changes to that do not reflect on the production site until you push those changes live. One of the things that was missing is tags. So there you go. You've got tags now. And, sandboxes, they're kind of not for the faint of heart, guys. They do work. You do have to know what you're doing, though. And you have to, when you push them live, you have to be very particular, Tyler, in the order that we're pushing things. We actually just did a major revision to our CRM. And, we had 4 of probably the best Zoho minds in the world on this call. You, Greg, Josh, well, I can't count myself, 3 of the best Zoho minds. And you guys were just hysterical as I watched you go bit by bit pushing things live,
It is
making sure.
interesting. Like there is an order that things need to go live when you push them from the sandbox. So for example, let's say I add a new module and then I add fields to those modules. Well, surely I need to push the module live before I push the fields live, right? When things kind of depend on each other. The tricky thing with the sandbox is that if you select everything and want to push it all live at once, it doesn't inherently do it in the right order and will oftentimes bug out. So you then kind of have to go line by line and selectively push things in the order that makes sense, oftentimes with a little bit of trial and error. So it's nice. It is good. You can build in there without disrupting the production. And that's kind of like the most important thing with a sandbox. Oftentimes we do find ourselves pushing maybe 90% of it live and the rest just won't go. And so we will go and recreate it just manually in the production system. So little bits of weirdness here and there. Of course, anything that you can do, you should be able to do in the sandbox. So tags should definitely be included there. Zoho, if you're listening, I know this is more complicated. It sure would be nice to do mail merges out of the sandbox as well. But I get it. It's over in Writer. So that one's kind of a pie in the sky ask. But either way, the more the merrier. You really should be able to sandbox anything in your system, especially for larger companies. They don't want to be making almost any changes to the production system without sandboxing first. So definitely nice to have.
Yeah, good stuff. All righty, and then moving right along, um, this is more of a public service announcement. We don't have any PSA whiz bang logo for you today, guys. I'm very disappointed, but anyway, Zoho Desk is changing. If you are using Zoho Desk, they give you a domain that people can go to log into the Desk portal. It's desk.zoho.com/portal/my company, so Zenatta. And after careful evaluation, they're going to change that to mycompany.zohodesk.com. So you're going to need to let people know that they've made that change. Now, if you've custom mapped your desk to your own URL, which I think we have, aren't we?
I think it's
Desk.zonatta.com, Tyler.
support.zenatta.com is where it
Or
redirects to.
yeah, so you can do a subdomain like that, and you can map it to that, and it'll just go directly there. So if you're doing that, this does not affect you. But if you haven't set up your own custom domain, this is going to affect you. And you've got a little time. It's between May 31st and June 30th when this is going to be rolling out. But it's a minor thing, and you will want to let your clients know. All right. And with that, let's move on to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is one that we built out over inside of Zoho Inventory. It's pretty much a workflow that allows you to control your shipping process based on your own business rules and kind of automate some of those steps so that people aren't having to do it manually. So in essence, like in inventory, the sales order is a important record that links up an invoice and a like package and shipment that pertains to a specific sale. From an accounting standpoint, you basically have an invoice for your receivable and like your accounting stock adjustment. And then you have your package and shipment for your physical stock adjustment and the actual physical movement of product out of the warehouse. A lot of the times for us, we'll find that, the client might have a business rule. And so again, these automations you need to think about based on how you do things. But one of our clients had a business rule that they don't ship the product until the invoice has been paid. And using the sales order as that linking record, we can actually automate processes either with packages or invoices that all kind of pertain to the same sale. So in this case, basically what we did is we set up a custom function where once an invoice gets paid, it will look at the sales order and it will look at the items on that invoice and match them up with the items on the sales order, kind of under the assumption that you might invoice for some items now and some later. And then in this case here, once that invoice gets paid, any items that are on that invoice automatically will get generated into a package record. That then gets on the list for their shipping team to label, package, and send it out the door. One of the reasons that we're kind of highlighting this is that the packages themselves become an important part of your workflow management. Those are the things that you're going to use to generate a label, or that you're going to pull over into ShipStation or Easy Ship, right, to get out the door, maybe if you're using one of those third-party tools. And so you can basically control when your shipping team is going to start based on the generation of the package. And you can automate that package generation based on invoice payment, invoices being sent, purchases being received against that sales order. There's a variety of different things you can do. This is just one example. But the key part is just the concept of kind of using those packages as a way to do a process control where the shipping team isn't going to start until that gets onto their list. This case, again, just being that it gets on the list once that product has been paid for.
All right. This is something that I think that comes up a lot. I take it this was all done back end with the luge, yes? Yeah. So it's almost I almost wish this was just some settings in the back end where you could do this, but it's a good workaround. I don't think
it is, and it's one that we do a lot. Like the example I threw out is like maybe an item is back ordered and you receive a PO against that sales order, and that kicks off the package, right? So it's just really about like controlling when your warehouse or shipping team is getting items added onto their list and making sure that, because a lot of shipping teams, if it's on the list, it is out the door, right? They're just churning, going. So you want to control that stuff at a high level and just add those onto their list as need be.
Very cool. Very cool. And with that, let's head on over to Club Zenatta and see what Greg's up with his code share of the week. So this is building a Cliq message containing a data table. And I know where Greg's going with this. So we use Cliq for so many cool things. All of our meetings are done inside Zoom, and Greg built a little bot called Zoomy, which basically if you click into that channel down at the bottom, it's like, hey, I want to look at my Zoom meetings that I've done. And you click on it and it builds this beautiful table, tells you all the Zoom meetings you were in, gives you the link to those Zoom meetings, the password, easy to copy and paste that and send that over. He's done this with several things. And this is, not simple, not hard, but it's basically, how you can build a table and display it internally inside of Cliq. So he's given us the code, Tyler, here on how to do that, and the end result here. So we scroll down is you can have a nice little card message that goes out inside Cliq that looks something like that.
And there's lots of
what's the
use
difficulty
cases
level on this?
The difficulty level is in getting your data set up. I mean, Greg really did list out exactly what you need to do here to get it. The trick is just, actually reaching into whatever source you need, pulling your data out, kind of organizing it into this structure to get the notice sent. I'd put it maybe a level 2 out of 3 in terms of deluge, depending on where you're getting the data from. But tons of different use cases for this. You could say at the end of every day, send out a table of the top 3 salespeople for the day into a channel, or at the beginning of every day, send a table of tickets to customer service that didn't get responded to yesterday. So there's just a ton of different ways when you might want to do this. And so Greg has pretty much put together the whole framework, and you would just need to plug in the data that you're looking to surface for people.
All right. And with that, well, actually, before I get to the read of the week, let me talk a little bit about Club Zenatta here. If you haven't gone over to Club Zenatta, head on over. We have got all of our forums, our general discussion forum, our code share forum. You can ask us questions, our Q&A for this show. We keep all of the news over here as well. We've got all sorts of, people dropping questions in, and there's just nice engagement going on over here. The more people that come on over, the better the engagement is. So head over to Zenatta, club.zenatta.com. Join the conversation, folks. And with that, let's get to our read of the week. All right, I'm heading over to Customer Think. This one grabbed me. For those of you, this is how to grow your long tail. Now, many of you have short tails, but you say, you know what? I really want a long tail, which is confusing, Tyler, because a lot of dogs, they crop their tails, but that's probably not what they're talking about. What we're talking about here is your customer base that generates a huge portion of your revenue. And there's this thing called the 80-20 rule. And in many cases, companies will look at their customer base, and 80% of their customers only do 20% of their business, and 20% of their customers are responsible for 80% of your business. So this is a nice article by Peter Flynn, and he is basically going through on how to grow. Now this is basically for B2B, for SMB customers, and how to go ahead and grow that section of your business, what you can do to basically engage them, train your reps more effectively so that they're constantly working with them, implement customer success management approach, arm your team with tools, basically get out there. It's really all about engagement with those customers to keep them moving. So something worth taking a look at. For those of you that may or may not know, this entire Zenatta started actually as a channel consulting firm that helped tech companies manage their channel. And for one of those companies, I actually wrote an entire series of blogs about 4 years ago about the entire 80-20 rule and what to do about the long tail channel partners. Again, the 80-20 rule, which is called the Pareto principle. Do you like the way I said that? The Pareto. Boy, that sounds so good. Basically says that 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. This gets thrown down into the channel as well. So a channel program is you don't sell your product, other people sell your product. You sign people up to sell your product, and they get going. And what happens with them? You have to engage with them. You have to keep them going. But every single business suffers from this. So in the channel, 20% of the partners do 80% of the business. So this is may seem like a short blog, but no, it is part of a 5-part series on how to engage that long tail. And I think my favorite part, I look back at this, I wrote in this second piece, I wrote that what you need is more Shatner and less Los Del Rio. I'll read a little bit from this. In 2002, VH1 aired a countdown of their greatest one-hit wonders, and it was hosted by William Shatner. And number one on the list was the 1996 hit Macarena by Los Del Rio. Now, what does that have to do with the channel? Well, let me tell you. Let's start with Shatner. You know him well. He's at the top of your channel partner program. He is in the 20% of all your partners that do 80% of your channel business year after year, decade after decade. Shatner is going to produce. Heck, he will probably go to space someday. Oh, he did, because he's Shatner. Now, let's look at your Los Del Rio. You got a lot of these. You got a lot of these clients. They're Los Del Rios. They litter your channel. They litter your long tail. You've got the Dexy Midnight Runners. You've got Right Said Fred. You got Tony Baszler too laying around. Every program has its own Vanilla Ice. Anyway, as fast as you can say Macarena, they fade into the sunset, never to be seen again and never to bring you another deal. Ah, yes. Hey, read this. This is what blogs should be. Educational and entertaining at the same time. Let me pat myself on my back. All right, there we go.
Take a
Anyway,
little trip
I had
down memory lane.
fun diving back into this and looking at this. And by the way, Channel Mechanics, great companies. So for those of you that do sell through the channel, they don't work just with tech companies. They work with any company that goes to the channel. They've got a great bunch of products. They've got partner portals, deal registration, demos, all kind of stuff. I might as well give them a shout out here. These were great guys. I really enjoyed consulting for them for a while and helping them with their programs here. And shout out to those guys, and on over there and check them out. And with that, let's check out what's new over on Zenatta. It's quite the rant I went on there, Tyler. I'm out of breath. So our web team has posted a nice article here. You're looking about setting up a new website. You use their getting started checklist, and they kind of step you through everything you want to do to get your new website up and running. There is a lot coming out of our team on websites. We've got a whole lot of new solutions, a whole lot of things we're going to be doing over there, and this is just part of it. So shout out to Tavin writing this, Wayne editing, getting this thing up, but it's good content. and we're going to have more of this. So, it's some of those things, Tyler. I mean, we look, so many of our clients, I mean, they've got these websites that are like 500 pixels wide by 700 pixels long, from
Hmm.
1999. I mean, you see it all the time when you're talking to people. It's like, man, you kind of want to spiff that up, because oftentimes that's the first impression people get of your company. They go to your
Yep.
website, and you want to make sure that your messaging is strong and clear. So check out this article, and that will give you a good start on that. And with now, let's move on to our pick of the week. I can't believe we haven't talked about this one before, Tyler. We have done literally 200 and what are we on? What's this episode? 196.
196.
So we have had
196
100,
picks.
196 picks, and we've never done Zapier, which is crazy. So for those of you that don't know what Zapier is, it basically is a middleman for API calls. So basically, what does that mean? That means you want to go to one application, get data from it, write it to another application, grab data from that application, maybe write it back to yours. You want two applications to communicate with each other and share information back and forth. You can do that directly. You can basically connect the two applications together, share that information. We do it all the time. But a real easy way, kind of an if this, then that kind of way, is Zapier. And that allows you to basically, they're the middleman. You connect the two apps through them. It grabs the information using its API calls, pulls it in. You match everything up and tell it what to do. And what would you add to that, Tyler? I'm sure a lot.
Yeah, I think the big use case for Zapier is just that it's not done in code. You can write code in Zapier. You can have it run some Python or JavaScript, but you really don't need to. So, it's great for things where you're doing it one at a time, right? So when I check this box in the CRM, go over to this software and send an email, or go over to this software and add that customer data here. So it doesn't really run as much on like big scheduled syncs of data, but for kind of building a through line workflow that might, touch on a variety of different applications, it is hard to beat. It's definitely the one that has the most connections already made. Zoho Flow is a similar app provided by Zoho. Of course, we do like that and use it, but it just doesn't connect to as many things as Zapier. They're kind of the elephant in the room, of course, the biggest player, and kind of just been doing this for the longest. So we thought we'd kind of include them here. I think most people who watch our show probably already know about Zapier, but we thought it would be helpful just in case anybody didn't.
And it's nice because, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, I'm just kind of scrolling through, and the example here is when I get a new lead from Facebook, let my team know about it is that Microsoft Teams or Slack's logo?
Slack. I think that's Slack.
That's Slack's new logo. Let my team know about it in Slack, and then go ahead and add them to my mailing list in MailChimp. Then go into salesforce.com and create a new deal, and then generate a signature request in, I don't know if that's DocuSign or what,
Sure.
might be DocuSign, in some sign program, because it connects to so many. It doesn't really matter. Whatever applications you have, that can be, I get a new lead from Google, let my team know about it in Zoho Cliq. Add them to my mailing list in Constant Contact, add them as a lead inside of salesforce.com. I think it's pretty ballsy to get a lead on Facebook and send them a contract right away.
It's quick.
But
Definitely quick.
it's quick,
Yeah,
man. That is an aggressive salesperson.
I bet it
You're
is.
assuming the close. So anyway, very cool application. I used to live in this thing. I love this thing. It was great. And we get a lot of customers. The problem with it is it can get pricey as you get down the road. I mean, if you're building out a lot of stuff, it really starts to get up there.
Yeah, they're
We've got
charging you per
companies.
credit and per task basically within the system. And
Yeah.
it's once you are on those high tier plans, they know they've got you. So it is one thing to keep in mind that price can get brutal, because they know that switching off of their platform is a huge, huge pain. And they price accordingly when they do that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The top tier plan is $7,200 a year billed annually, or $898.50 billed monthly. So there's a lot
Mm.
there, but so you can get addicted to it and use it. But usually, if you're going that far down, you probably should just hire somebody to write the direct connections for you. It's gonna
Yeah.
make your life a little bit easier. All right, and with that, Tyler, let's get to our tip of the week brought to us by Mr. Hollywood. Um, so Drew has given us a tip here on how to sync Zoho campaigns with Zoho CRM. This literally just went live a few minutes ago. And he's got some nice, lovely jazz music playing in the background. So you can watch Drew teach you how to sync this up and relax at the same time. It's kind of nice. Kind of nice. But this is one of those things that trips a lot of people up, syncing CRM and campaigns. And there's undergoing a lot of changes right now as
Yeah, we'll
that
probably
whole
have to
syncing
re-record
process
this
is
one in not
changing
too long.
and as we're setting up those various, the groups. So there's a lot going on with this. So I'm not sure what version he's doing here, but it may be that he's got the older version. We'll be doing a new one of this because Zoho basically put this out on the market. Was it January? And then repped it back out?
Yeah, and then
The
pulled it
new
back.
sync?
Yeah.
Yep. And it hasn't come back yet. So hopefully it will be coming soon. But basically this is going to be how to go ahead and set that sync up with the campaigns and Zoho CRM, which is something everybody has to do. And it does work exceptionally well if you do that. And as always, if you head over to youtube.com/Zapier, you can keep up on all of our latest videos and you never miss a thing. Because you know how you won't miss a thing, Tyler? You hit that subscribe button and then you hit the bell so you get reminders when we release new videos. And if you do that, then you always know what we're doing. Like you would have got a
Never miss an
reminder right now.
opportunity.
Ding, ding. You would have got a live reminder saying the show's going live. You're like, why is it going live on Thursday? It should be going live on Friday morning because Tyler wants to take Friday off. That's why. All the
That
disappointed
was
children in the
complicated
world.
sometimes.
I know. You could let a lot of people down tomorrow. I think there's going to be a lot of sadness in this world tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time. All right. With that, let's get to our Q&A. All righty. Hill Nation asks, after watching how to set up IMAP for your personal email using Zoho Mail, can I use this in the Zoho free plan? No, Hill, you cannot. You cannot. You have to pay to get that set up. Sorry about that. Next question. Pyro Jewelry Management and Manufacturing Software asks, hello, guys. Thanks for talking about my question that was last week, where we talked about Zobots and setting those up and how to personalize and customize the look and feel of a Zobot and those kind of things. He wants to know if I have a Zobot to be active only on weekends when there's no live agent to answer the question regarding regular chat, or is a Zobot a completely different thing?
So it's built into the same chat that the agent's using. So you can set it up a couple different ways. You could set it up where like the bot is going to actively prompt a user and try to get them to engage, and then based on certain criteria, route or direct the chat to a live agent. So you could use it that way, kind of working in tandem. If you wanted it to be when there weren't any live agents available, what you would do is set it up. I forget the names of the settings, but within your Zobot kind of brand settings, you can define that the bot is only available either during certain periods of time, or that it's only available when there are no live agents available. It will also take that same kind of scan and customization that you've done for your normal chat widget and just go ahead and apply it to the bot.
I hope that answered your question. And then Michael Burns, after watching the Zoho Sign full product tutorial 2021, says, is there a feature for a sign template that requires 20 plus initials that would allow the signer to autofill all the initials using a button? No, there just isn't.
It would be nice.
Unfortunately,
That would be nice.
because it's a contract, you really couldn't say, hey, just click here and agree to all that. That would kind of defeat the purpose of the initials. And so you actually have to go through and click that you are understanding each and every section that you're initialing. Sorry about that, Michael. I don't know of any sign. There might be sign software that has that, but I don't know. And then watching our Zoho Books full product tutorial 2020, our shed asked, how much cost for Zoho POS software for a grocery stationery shop? Zoho does not have a POS software yet. There's been a lot of chatter about it. I do think it's coming soon. I think it's going to be a really big product when it is released, because it's kind of one of the key missing ingredients for Zoho is to have that true POS iPad experience, touch it all, talk to inventory, talk to books, doing all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be a really
Gosh
big
knows
thing.
Square does not integrate. They do not integrate with anything.
No, not well at all. No, not well at all. So that's that. But keep an eye out. I do think I thought we'd see it. I thought we were gonna see it the first half of this year. So might still be right on that. We might get it in the next couple of months. Alrighty, and then in live chat, Artie, how you doing, Artie? Thank you for always supporting us and being here. He asks, what happens to existing settings when the same sandbox settings are pushed over from a sandbox? I'm not sure I
So it
understand the
depends. So
question.
if you took your sandbox, like when you create your sandbox, what it's going to do is copy everything that's currently in the system, including all the customization that you've added. If you were to make any, let's say you went into workflow A and you changed like the action that it did, and then you pushed it live, it will overwrite those existing settings. So any changes in the sandbox when they are pushed live are going to be assumed as primary and overwrite whatever it is that you're editing. Now, if you had a whole bunch of settings that were in the production system, you made a sandbox install, and then you pushed everything from the install, if you didn't change any of those settings, they would just stay. It doesn't set anything back to baseline. It will just enforce anything that's been applied in the sandbox to now be the rule or setting in production.
All righty. It looks like that is going to wrap up the show there, Tyler. Well, I want you to have a great weekend. Enjoy your day off tomorrow. And as always, folks, if you have any questions or comments, you can head over to Zenatta.com and you can drop us a line there. Or if you want to ask us questions specifically for the CRM Zen Show, or you just want to ask questions of our user base, head over to club.zenatta.com and you can leave us a message there as well.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
All righty, good show. Time to crack a beer, Tyler.
All righty. I will see you next week.
Right. Take care.